Welcome back to Chapter 3 of Start and Plan Your First Project, part of our journey in the Accidental Project Manager. Today's episode, titled Define Success, Craft Smart, Measurable Goals, is all about understanding the difference between outputs and outcomes. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools to set clear, impactful goals that truly drive your projects forward. Let's dive in. About half of employees say they're not totally sure what's expected of them at work. Now drop into a project meeting where everyone's doing their best, yet no one can say how success will actually be judged. The paradox: hard work is clear, but success is fuzzy. Half-built goals are everywhere in projects. Launch faster, improve quality, make customers happier. They sound inspiring, but they're like half-finished bridges. Everyone can walk up to the edge, but no one can actually cross. In earlier episodes, we focused on why the project exists and who cares about it. Now we're shifting from important to provable. Research on goal setting shows something uncomfortable. Teams can be busy, aligned, even enthusiastic, and still underperform simply because targets weren't defined sharply enough. That's where SMART goals, KPIs, and OKRs come in. They force you to turn broad intentions into numbers, evidence, and deadlines. In this episode, we'll turn one vague project goal into a concrete, measurable target you could defend in a boardroom or a sprint review, and your team could actually hit. Now we're going to stress test your goals the way engineers stress test bridges. Vague promises get replaced with criteria you can actually inspect: numbers, thresholds, and dates that either are met or aren't. Think of your project charter, roadmap, or backlog as a draft hypothesis about how you'll create value. This step turns that hypothesis into something you can measure, compare, and refine. We'll connect your project's why to a small set of sharp targets, then link those targets to observable signals in the real world: customer behavior, delivery speed, cost, quality, or risk. Here's the move now. Take one important project goal and treat it like a draft, not a decree. You're going to refine it until everyone on the team could independently describe what done looks like and give the same answer. Start with specific. Ask, if I film this outcome, what would the camera see? Instead of better onboarding, think, new hire can complete payroll, benefits, and security setup without help. You're stripping out interpretation and anchoring the goal in observable behavior or artifacts. Next, make it measurable. This doesn't always mean a number on a dashboard. You can measure with a checklist of must-have capabilities, can generate invoice, can export data, a rating scale, for example, usability score from 1 to 5, a clear pass-fail condition, for example, all critical defects closed. The test: could two people independently decide whether the goal is met and agree on the verdict? Then sharpen achievable. Research is blunt: too easy and people coast, too hard and they disengage. Challenge the team. If we stretch, is this still realistic given our time, skills, and constraints? Use recent history as a sanity check. If you shipped one significant feature last quarter, 10 game-changing features next quarter is wishful thinking, not ambition. For relevant, connect the goal upward. Trace a line from this target back to the why you defined earlier and to a business outcome that actually matters: revenue, risk reduction, cost, satisfaction, compliance. If that line feels weak or circuitous, you may be polishing the wrong goal. Finally, make it time-bound by setting an honest, evidence-based horizon. Work backwards from key dates, contract renewals, regulatory deadlines, seasonal peaks, and ask, what must be true by when? This also protects you from endless, almost there progress reports. Once you've drafted a SMART version, pressure test it with the team. What would tempt us to declare victory early? What plausible surprises could make this impossible? If we hit this target but miss the point, what would that look like? Tuning goals this way is less about wordsmithing and more about surfacing assumptions before they derail your project. Double our sales sounds bold. Do something impressive sounds familiar. Watch what happens when you quietly add smart structure. A product team might upgrade "launch a better app" into "by September 30th, increase weekly active users by 20% in our 3 core markets while keeping App Store ratings above 4.3. Now, marketing, engineering, and support can each see where they fit and how progress will be judged. In practice, strong goals rarely stand alone. A customer support lead could pair one primary target, cut average first response time from 12 hours to 4 hours in 90 days, with 2 balancing signals so the system doesn't drift, maintain CSAT above 4.5 out of 5, and keep agent overtime below 5%. That mix prevents hitting the number by quietly burning out staff or frustrating customers. Used this way, a small set of sharp targets behaves like a weather forecast for your project. Leading indicators, darkening clouds, and lagging indicators, the actual storm, tell you when to pack an umbrella or pivot your plan. When goals are this sharp, your data stops being a rear-view mirror and becomes more like a lab instrument, letting you run small experiments instead of big bets. That's where things get interesting. You can tweak scope mid-flight, swap out weak indicators, or add new ones for ethics or sustainability. Over time, you're not just hitting numbers, you're teaching the organization to notice cause and effect faster than competitors, and to correct course before drift becomes disaster. Treat today's targets as hypotheses, not commandments. As you track them, notice which ones act like streetlights, clarifying the next few steps, and which behave like fog, hiding trade-offs. Over time, you'll curate a small set that reliably guides choices when pressure spikes, just like trusted instruments in a cockpit cutting through turbulence. Before next week, ask yourself, 1. If someone looked only at my calendar and bank statement, what would they say I'm actually optimizing for? And how does that line up with the specific outcome I say I want? For example, launching my course by June 30th, or booking 3 new clients this month. 2. What exact metric would prove I'm making progress on my current goal? Months, number of outreach emails sent, workouts completed, pages written, sales calls booked. And what's a realistic weekly target I'm willing to commit to starting today? 3. Looking at my past week, which recurring task or distraction would I drop, delegate, or time box so I can free up at least 30 minutes a day to move the needle on that one clearly defined, measurable goal? This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow.